The space station called Velar was old and dirty. It floated in the dark space between three different star systems. Traders came here to buy and sell goods. Criminals came here to hide, and hunters came here to drink and tell stories about their kills. The bar at the center of the station was always full. Aliens of all shapes and sizes sat at tables, drinking strange liquids and talking in dozens of languages. The air smelled like smoke and sweat and fear. It was not a nice place, but it was the only place to wait while your ship got fuel. On this night, one voice was louder than all the others. It belonged to a creature called. He was a species that looked like a lizard standing on two legs. His body was covered in dark green scales. His eyes were yellow with black lines in the middle. When he smiled, he showed rows of sharp teeth. Was very tall. He was almost 3 meters high. His arms were thick with muscle and his claws were as long as knives. But the most interesting thing about him was what he wore. His body was covered with bones and teeth and claws. They hung from chains around his neck. They were tied to his arms with leather straps. Each one was a trophy from something he had killed. He stood in the middle of the bar holding a large cup of red liquid. Around him sat a crowd of smaller aliens. They looked at him with wide eyes. Some looked afraid. Some looked impressed. All of them listened to his every word. 17, said, his voice deep and rough like rocks grinding together. I have killed 17. Do you understand what that means? A small alien with blue skin raised a shaking hand. Are beings from the most dangerous planets, yes, class 12 worlds. Laughed, the sound was like thunder. Yes, little one, class 12 worlds, planets where everything wants to kill you. Planets with poison air, burning heat, freezing cold, and monsters everywhere. Only the strongest creatures survive on such worlds, and only the greatest hunter can kill them. He pointed to a large tooth hanging from his chest. This belonged to their blood is acid. It can burn through metal. I killed 3 of them on a moon near the outer rim. His claw moved to a black bone on his arm. This is from a berserker. They feel no pain. They fight until their body falls apart. I broke this one's spine with my bare hands. The crowd made sounds of amazement and fear, loved these sounds. He stood taller and smiled wider. In a dark corner of the bar, 2 humans sat in a small booth. They did not make any sounds. They did not look impressed. They just watched. The woman was called. She was small even for a human. Her hair was black and cut short. Her skin was pale and her eyes were dark brown. She wore simple clothes, brown and gray, the kind that traders wear. Nothing about her looked special or dangerous. She held a glass of water and took small sips while she watched the hunter. The man next to her was called. He was bigger than, with wide shoulders and strong arms. A long scar ran across his jaw from his ear to his chin. His eyes were always moving, always watching for danger. He held a small computer pad and looked at numbers on the screen. That is very loud, said quietly. He did not look up from his pad. He is making everyone nervous. We should leave. Shook her head slowly. The ship needs 2 more hours for fuel. We cannot leave yet. Then we should go to another bar. This is the only bar. Made a small sound of frustration but said nothing more. He went back to looking at his numbers. His voice got even louder. He had seen something interesting. He had seen the 2 humans. Look, he called out to his crowd. We have guests, real living right here in this bar. Everyone turned to look at him. The 2 humans did not move. They did not react at all. Pushed through his admirers and walked toward their table. Each step he took made the floor shake a little. The other aliens moved away quickly, not wanting to be between the hunter and his new interest. Humans, said, stopping next to their booth. He looked down at them like they were small animals. The species to join the galactic community from a planet called, what is it? Earth. Looked up at him, her face showed nothing. Yes, Earth. I have heard stories about your world, continued. He sat down without asking, taking up most of the bench across from them. A Class 12 planet, very impressive, extreme temperatures, dangerous weather, many predators. You know a lot about us, Sid. Her voice was calm and flat. I know about all, it is my job. He leaned forward, his yellow eyes bright with interest. But I have also heard that humans are the weakest of the death species. Your skin is soft. Your claws are tiny. You have no natural weapons at all. His hand moved slowly under the table toward the knife on his belt. Notice this. Without looking at him, she placed her hand on his arm, a gentle touch, a quiet message. Not yet. Did not notice this small movement. He was too busy enjoying himself. Tell me, little humans, he said, showing all his teeth. Do your people understand fear? Do you know what it feels like to be prey? The bar had gone silent. Everyone was watching. Everyone was waiting to see what the humans would do. Took another sip of her water. Then she set the glass down and looked directly into his eyes. You said you have hunted 17, she said. Yes, his chest swelled with pride. 17, each won a great battle, each won a trophy. Tilted her head slightly to one side. That is very impressive. I have a question. Ask. Her dark eyes did not blink. Her voice did not shake. She spoke the words slowly and clearly so everyone in the bar could hear. Did any of them walk away? The silence in the bar was complete. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the machines in the walls seemed to stop humming. Every eye was on and the great hunter stared at the small human woman. His yellow eyes showed confusion. His mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. For a moment he looked like a fish pulled from water. What? He finally said. Did not repeat herself. She just waited. Her hands were folded on the table. Her body was relaxed. She looked like someone asking about the weather, not someone challenging the most dangerous hunter in the sector. Your hunts, she continued after a long pause. You killed 17, but did any of them survive? Did any escape? Did any go home and tell their families, their friends, their entire species about you? His confusion turned to anger. His scales darkened, which meant his blood was running hot. Of course not, he growled. I am a perfect hunter. My prey does not escape. My prey does not survive. When I hunt, I kill. That is the way of the... I see, said. She nodded slowly, like a teacher listening to a student give a wrong answer. So none of your victims ever learned from fighting you. None of them went back to warn others. None of them shared information about your methods, your weaknesses, your patterns. I have no weaknesses, snapped. His claws scratched deep lines into the table's surface. Everyone has weaknesses. Not me. Smiled. It was a small smile, just a slight curve of her lips. It did not touch her eyes at all. Then you have never been truly tested. The crowd around them began to whisper. This was not how conversations with usually went. Usually people agreed with him. Usually people praised him. No one ever questioned him. No one ever smiled at him like he was a fool. Leaned forward until his face was very close to his. His breath smelled like rotten meat. His teeth were centimeters from her nose. Any normal creature would have been terrified. Any normal creature would have looked away, apologized, begged for mercy. Did not move. She did not blink. She looked at him like he was slightly boring. What are you saying, human? Asked. His voice was low and dangerous. Are you calling me weak? Are you saying my kills mean nothing? I am saying, replied calmly, that killing prey that cannot fight back is not hunting. It is just murder. A true predator, a real hunter, faces prey that learns, prey that adapts, prey that remembers. She pointed at the trophies on his body, the bones and teeth and claws of dead creatures. These are just corpses. They are dead. They cannot teach anyone anything. They cannot warn anyone about you. They are just decorations. Grabbed the edge of the table so hard that the metal bent under his grip. You dare insult my trophies. I earned these in battle. You fought alone, interrupted. One hunter, one prey, very traditional, very honorable. She paused. very stupid. Now the whispers in the crowd got louder. Several aliens started moving toward the exits. They knew what happened when someone made angry. They had seen the bodies before. They did not want to become the next ones. But kept talking. Her voice was still calm, still quiet, still completely without fear. You hunt alone, that is your greatest weakness. When you win, only you know about it. When you lose, she shrugged. Well, you have never lost, so you do not know what happens when a hunter fails. What happens? Asked. His voice was shaking with rage. Tell me, little human, what happens when a hunter fails against your kind? Stood up slowly. She was less than half his height. The top of her head barely reached his chest. And yet somehow when she stood, moved back just a little, just half a step. He did not even realize he did it. When a human hunter fails, said, they go home. They tell their village what happened. They describe the prey. They explain what went wrong. They share every detail. She took a step toward him, took another step back. Then the village tells other villages. The story spreads. People discuss it. They think about it. They come up with new ideas, new strategies, new weapons. Another step forward, another step back. And then they send out more hunters. Not one, not 2, 10, 20, 100, all of them knowing everything the first hunter learned, all of them ready for what killed their friend. Back touched the bar counter. He could not move any further. The great hunter was trapped by a woman who barely reached his chest. Stopped walking. She looked up at him, her dark eyes cold and steady. That is the difference between us. You hunt for trophies. We hunt to survive. You fight alone and kill alone. We fight together and learn together. She reached out and touched one of the bones hanging from his neck. A small bone, from some small creature that had died alone and afraid. You have killed 17, and you are proud of this number. Her voice dropped to a whisper that somehow everyone in the bar could hear. Humans have been in space for only 50 years. In that time, we have met many species who wanted to hunt us. Do you know how many of those species are still hunting humans? Did not answer, he could not answer. His throat felt tight, his hearts were beating too fast. Answered for him. None, not one. They all stopped. Some stopped because we killed them. Some stopped because we made peace with them. But most of them stopped because they learned something very important. She stepped back and returned to her seat next to. She picked up her glass of water and took a slow sip. They learned that humans remember, we share, we adapt, we come back. She set down her glass and looked at one more time. So tell me, great hunter, when you face prey that never forgets, prey that always learns, prey that keeps coming no matter how many you kill, are you still sure you are the predator? The bar felt different now. The air itself seemed heavier. The lights seemed darker. Everyone could feel that something had changed. The great hunter no longer looked so great. He looked confused. He looked uncertain. For the first time in his long life, he looked almost afraid. But warriors do not accept fear. They crush it. They turn it into anger. Straightened his back. His scales rippled as his muscles tensed. His claws extended to their full length, sharp enough to cut through steel. When he spoke, his voice was loud again, but it did not sound confident anymore. It sounded desperate. You speak many words, human, he growled. But words are not weapons. Words cannot hurt me. You think your little speech makes you strong. You think your stories about learning and remembering make you dangerous. He laughed, but the laugh was hollow. Look at you, small, soft, no claws, no scales, no venom, no natural armor. You are the weakest in the galaxy. Your planet may be class 12, but you survived it by accident, not by strength. Did not react to his words. She simply waited for him to finish. Leaned back in his seat. His hand was no longer near his knife. He did not look worried at all. He looked almost bored, like he had seen this situation many times before. Let me tell you about Earth, said when stopped talking. Her voice was quiet, almost gentle, like a mother telling a bedtime story to a child. Let me tell you why we are still alive." She stood up again, but this time she did not approach. Instead, she walked around the table and began moving through the bar. Other aliens moved out of her way. They did not want to be too close to either of these strange creatures. "Our planet tried to kill us every single day," began. "When we first appeared on Earth, we were exactly what you said: small, soft, weak. We had no claws, no armor, no venom. The world was full of creatures that were bigger than us, faster than us, stronger than us." She stopped next to a table where a group of small, furry aliens sat. They looked up at her with wide eyes. There were cats with teeth as long as swords. We called them saber-toothed tigers. They could kill a human with one bite. She made a slashing motion with her hand. "They are gone now. We survived. They did not." She moved to another table. There were bears that stood 4 meters tall. They could crush a human skull like an egg. They are still around, but they run away when they see us. They learn to be afraid. She continued walking. The entire bar was silent, listening. There were wolves that hunted in packs. They were smart, fast, and worked together. "Do you know what we did to the wolves?" Smiled. "We made them our friends. We fed them, bred them, changed them. Now they live in our homes. They love us. They protect our children. We took our enemies and turned them into family." She stopped in front of a large window that looked out into space. Stars glittered in the darkness beyond. "But the animals were not the worst part," she continued. "The planet itself tried to kill us. Ice ages came and covered the world in frozen death. Volcanoes exploded and blocked out the sun. Plagues spread through our populations and killed millions. Earthquakes destroyed our cities. Floods washed away our homes." She turned back to face. "Every time we almost died. Every time we came back stronger. We learned to make fire to survive the cold. We learned to build shelters to survive the storms. We learned medicine to survive the diseases." His eyes were fixed on her. He could not look away. "And then we started to change the world itself," said. "We cut down forests. We drained swamps. We built mountains of stone and metal. We created light that turned night into day. We made machines that could fly higher than birds, swim deeper than fish, run faster than any animal." She walked slowly back toward. Each step was calm and measured. "You think we are weak because we have no natural weapons. But that is exactly why we are dangerous. We do not need claws because we make weapons with our hands. We do not need armor because we build walls and shields. We do not need venom because we create poisons that can kill planets." She stopped a meter away from him. "You evolved to be a perfect killer. Your claws, your scales, your strength, all of it was given to you by nature. You were born dangerous." Her eyes grew cold. "We were born helpless. Every advantage we have, we built ourselves. We earned it. We invented it. We took it from a universe that wanted us dead." Spoke for the first time. His voice was deep and rough. "That is the difference. You stopped evolving when your body became strong enough. We never stopped. We could not stop. Stopping meant death." Nodded. "We have a saying on Earth. What does not kill us makes us stronger. Every disaster, every predator, every disease, every war, they all made us better. They forced us to think, to create, to adapt." She reached out and tapped one of his trophies, a large fang from something that had once been very dangerous. "You collect the dead," she said. "We collect knowledge. Every human who dies teaches 1,000 humans how not to die. Every battle we lose shows us how to win the next one." She stepped back and looked at the crowd of aliens watching them. 50 years ago, humans left Earth for the first time. We knew nothing about the galaxy. We knew nothing about alien species. We were children walking into a room full of monsters. Her voice hardened. "Now there are human colonies on 200 worlds. Human ships travel every trade route. Human businesses operate in every sector. And every species that tried to stop us, every empire that tried to conquer us, every hunter that tried to kill us." She looked back at. "They all learned the same lesson. Humans do not stay weak. Humans do not stay ignorant. Humans do not give up. She returned to her seat and sat down next to. So yes, I know what it means to be prey. I know what fear feels like. Every human knows. It is written in our blood. It is burned into our bones. She picked up her water glass. And that fear made us into something that the galaxy has never seen before. Prey that hunts back. Victims that become conquerors. The weak who refuse to stay weak. She took a long drink of water. That is what you are looking at, great hunter. Not weak little creatures from a dangerous planet. You are looking at survivors. And survivors are the most dangerous things in any universe. Something broke inside. The words of this small human woman had hit him harder than any weapon ever had. His pride was bleeding. His confidence was shattered. And when a warrior feels weak, he does the only thing he knows how to do. He attacks. With a roar that shook the glasses on every table lunged at, his massive arms swept toward her throat. His claws were fully extended, ready to tear her head from her body. He moved faster than any creature his size should be able to move. In the history of his hunts, no prey had ever dodged this attack. No prey had ever survived it. Was not there. She had moved before his arm even started to swing. It was not fast movement. It was early movement. She had seen his muscles tense. She had seen his weight shift. She had known what he was going to do before he did it. By the time his claws cut through the air where her neck had been, she was standing 2 meters to his left. His arm smashed into the table, breaking it in half. Pieces of metal and wood flew across the bar. The aliens in the crowd screamed and ran for the exits. Chairs fell over. Drinks spilled. Chaos filled the room. But stood perfectly still. She had not even spilled her water. "You are angry," she said calmly. "Good. Angry creatures make mistakes." Spun toward her, his eyes burning with rage. He swung again, a massive backhand that could have broken a wall. Again, she was not there. She had moved just enough, just in time, letting his arm pass within centimeters of her face. This time she did not just dodge. As his arm went past her, she placed her palm against his elbow and pushed. It was a gentle push, barely any force at all, but it was perfectly timed. His own momentum carried him forward, and the small push sent him stumbling off balance. He crashed into a support column with a thunderous impact. The whole bar shook. Had moved too. While was stumbling, the man had circled behind him. When he tried to stand up, he found a strong arm wrapped around his neck. His grip was not tight enough to kill, but it was tight enough to control. Every time tried to move, the arm squeezed a little harder. "Do not struggle," said quietly. "I do not want to hurt you, but I will if you make me." Struggled anyway. He thrashed and clawed and roared. He was 3 times size. He was many times strength. But the human held on. Every movement made, adjusted. Every attempt to break free was blocked or redirected. It was like fighting water, like fighting smoke. After 30 seconds, stopped struggling. Not because he gave up, but because he could not breathe. Had slowly, carefully, patiently tightened his grip until the great hunter could barely get air into his lungs. Walked over and knelt down in front of. She looked at him with something that might have been pity. "This is what we call persistence predation," she said. "It is how our ancestors hunted on Earth. We did not fight prey directly. We followed it. We tracked it. We chased it for hours, days, weeks. We never stopped. Eventually, the prey would collapse from exhaustion. Then we would kill it." His eyes were wide. His tongue hung from his mouth as he gasped for air. "You are stronger than," continued. "You are faster than me. In a fair fight you would win easily, but we do not fight fair. We fight smart. We use your strength against you. We use your anger against you. We wait until you make a mistake and then we take everything." She reached out and removed one of the trophies from his harness. It was a claw, black and curved, from some creature that had died long ago. This belonged to something that was also stronger than humans, something that was also faster and deadlier. And it is dead now. just like you would be dead if squeezed a little harder. She held the claw in front of his eyes. We did not kill it with our hands, we killed it with our minds. We studied it. We learned its patterns. We found its weaknesses. And then we made a plan. 1,000 years of humans all working together, all sharing knowledge, all building on each other's work. That is what killed this creature. She dropped the claw on the floor. You have been hunting for what? 100 years, 200. And in that time you have learned nothing. You use the same methods. You fight the same way. You have not grown at all. She stood up and nodded too. He released his grip and stepped back quickly out of his reach. The great hunter collapsed to his hands and knees, coughing and gasping. His body shook with each breath. His scales had gone pale gray, the color of defeat. Humans have been in space for 50 years, said, looking down at him. In that time, we have learned more about fighting aliens than your species has learned in 10,000 years. We have studied every predator we have met. We have recorded every tactic, every weapon, every weakness. She crouched down to meet his eyes. And do you know the most important thing we learned? The thing that keeps us alive against creatures like you. Could not speak, he just stared at her. We learned that size does not matter, strength does not matter, speed does not matter. The only thing that matters is this. She tapped her temple. The mind, the ability to think, to plan, to remember, to share. She smiled that cold, empty smile again. You wanted to know if humans understand what it means to be prey. We do. That is why we became the most dangerous predators our world ever produced, because prey that thinks is more dangerous than any predator that does not. She stood up and walked back to where was waiting. Your prey never walked away, they never got the chance to learn from fighting you, but we did. Right here, right now, we learned everything about how you fight. We learned your speed, your reach, your attack patterns, your weaknesses. She picked up her bag from the floor near their destroyed table. And if you ever hunt another human, they will know too, because I am going to tell them. I am going to share every single thing I learned tonight, and the next human you meet will be ready for you. She walked toward the exit, following close behind. That is the human way, great hunter. We do not just survive. We prepare the next generation to survive even better. She paused at the doorway and looked back one more time. You asked if we know what it feels like to be prey. The answer is yes, and that feeling made us into something that the universe has never seen before. She turned and walked out into the corridor. Monsters that remember. The corridors of Velar Station were quiet. Most of the beings who lived here had heard about what happened in the bar. News travels fast on space stations. By now, everyone knew that the famous hunter had been defeated by 2 small humans without a single weapon being drawn, and walked through the metal hallways toward the docking bay where their ship waited. Their footsteps echoed in the empty space. Neither of them spoke for a long time. Finally broke the silence. You did not kill him. No. You could have. I had his throat. One squeeze and it would have been over. Nodded, I know. Then why did you stop me? He attacked you. He tried to kill you. No one would have blamed us for defending ourselves. Smiled. It was a real smile this time, warm but tired. The kind of smile that comes from someone who has seen too much and fought too long. Because dead enemies cannot spread fear. They reached a large window that looked out at the docking bay. Their ship was visible in the distance, a small freighter called the Steady Hand. It was old and patched in many places, but it flew well. It had carried them across a dozen star systems and through many dangerous situations. Stopped and looked out at the stars beyond the station. Every species in this sector has heard of, she said. He is famous. He is respected. Other warriors look up to him. Other hunters want to be like him. His word carries weight. She turned to face. Now imagine what happens when tells people about tonight. Imagine him explaining to other that 2 humans, without any weapons, defeated him in front of 100 witnesses. Imagine him describing how a small woman predicted his every move, how a man held him helpless with nothing but his bare hands. Understood, his face showed a rare expression of respect. The story will spread. The story will spread, agreed. And it will change. Each time it is told, it will grow. The humans will become more powerful. Our victory will become more complete. His defeat will become more shameful. She started walking again toward the docking bay. Within a month, every hunter in this sector will know about the humans who humiliated the great. Within a year, the story will reach the. Within 10 years, it will be legend. Fell into step beside her, and every time someone thinks about hunting humans, they will remember this story. They will wonder if they are good enough. They will hesitate. Nodded. Fear is a better shield than any armor. Dead enemies teach nothing. Living enemies teach everyone. They reached the airlock to their ship, pressed her hand against the scanner, and the door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside the bar, far behind them, still knelt on the floor. His admirers were gone. His trophies lay scattered around him. The bones and teeth and claws that he had collected over centuries suddenly seemed worthless. A station worker, a small creature with 4 arms called a, carefully approached him with a broom and a collection bin. The worker was here to clean up the mess, but he moved slowly, afraid of disturbing the broken hunter. "Honored one," the said quietly, "do you need medical help? Should I call someone?" Did not answer at first. He just stared at the floor, at the pieces of his broken table, at the claw that had dropped beside him. 50 cycles, he finally muttered. His voice was empty, hollow. The humans have only been in the galaxy for 50 cycles. How are they so? He could not finish the sentence. He did not have the words. The worker stopped sweeping. He looked at the great hunter with something that might have been pity. "Did you not know, honored one? The humans have a story, an old story from there." Looked up. "What story?" The worker set down his broom and thought for a moment. "On their planet there is an animal. It is called a honey badger. It is small. Its fur is soft. It has no special weapons, no venom, no great speed. It is not particularly dangerous compared to other Earth creatures." "Then why do you mention it?" The shrugged all 4 of his shoulders. "Because every other predator on Earth learned to leave it alone. The great cats avoided it. The wolves ran from it. Even the humans respected it." "Why? If it was so weak, why would they fear it?" The worker picked up his broom and started sweeping again. "Because it would fight back, always. No matter how big the enemy, no matter how hopeless the situation, it never gave up. It never ran away. It would attack anything that threatened it, even if it knew it could not win." He gathered the broken trophy bones into his bin. The other predators learned that attacking a honey badger was not worth the trouble. Even if they won, they would be hurt. Even if they killed it, they would pay a price. So they left it alone. He started walking away, carrying the broken pieces of his pride. "The humans are an entire species of honey badgers, honored one, and you just poked one." Sat in the empty bar for a long time after that. He thought about the small human woman with the cold eyes. He thought about the man who had held him helpless. He thought about all that he had hunted over the centuries. None of them had been like the humans. None of them had looked at him with such calm certainty. None of them had defeated him without even trying to hurt him. And none of them had walked away alive. Until now. Far across the station, sat in the pilot's seat of the steady hand. The engines hummed as prepared for departure. Through the cockpit window, she could see Velar Station slowly getting smaller. "Where do we go next?" asked. "Sector 7, we have cargo to deliver." "And after that?" Leaned back in her chair and closed her eyes. "After that, we keep doing what humans always do. We explore, we trade, we meet new species, and when someone tries to hunt us..." She smiled. "We teach them why that is a very bad idea." The steady hand turned toward the stars and jumped into faster-than-light travel. Behind them, on Velar Station, a legend was being born. The story of the human woman who asked a simple question and destroyed a hunter's pride with nothing but words and patience. Did any of them walk away? From now on, the answer would always be yes. Because humans do not just survive. They do not just win. They make sure that everyone knows what happens when you try to hunt them. They make sure the story spreads. And in a galaxy full of predators, the most dangerous thing is not claws or teeth or venom. It is a memory. It is a warning. It is the knowledge that somewhere out there, the prey is watching, learning, and waiting. The humans had been in space for only 50 years. They had a lot more learning to do. And the galaxy was not ready for what they would become.